Well, speaking of public-private partnerships and collaboration between government, academia, industry, our tremendous national laboratory system, as well as the critical driver of energy that enables everything we do, it's my great pleasure to introduce the recently confirmed Secretary of Energy, the Honorable Dan Brouillette, to give us some remarks about his agenda and priorities, very important to the Commission and our nation. Let me just share that Secretary Brouillette has had a tremendous background, 3 decades of experience in both the public and private sector. Most recently, he was the Senior Vice President and Head of Public Policy for USAA, the nation's leading provider of financial services for the military community. Before joining USSA, Secretary Brouillette was the Vice President of Ford Motor Company, where he had led many of the automakers' domestic policy teams and served on the North America Operating Committee. We've been very fortunate at the Council to work with the Secretary when he was deputy. He was very much involved in our seminal study on cyber infrastructure as applied to both the energy and manufacturing transformation. So it's our great honor to welcome Secretary Daniel Brouillette. Thank you so much for being here. We're very honored.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. 3 decades of experience. I guess that means I'm old, or I'm getting old. Thank you, Deborah, for that kind introduction. It's an honor to be with you and with all of you this morning at this forum on the Council on Competitiveness. As Deborah mentioned, we were involved with the infrastructure study, and I spoke at this council in 2018. And as you know, a lot has happened since that time. I am deeply thankful to President Trump for his trust in nominating me to serve as the 15th Secretary of Energy, and to the bipartisan members of the U.S. Senate for confirming me to this position in so speedily a manner. And believe me, it has been quick. Secretary Perry left this department much better than he found it, and I am absolutely grateful for his service to our department and his service to our country. And I personally am thankful for his leadership and his friendship over nearly 2 decades now. For me, there couldn't be a more exciting time to serve as Energy Secretary than right now. Under the leadership of President Trump, DOE is igniting growth, we're unleashing innovation, and we're spreading opportunity all across the nation. We're working to reduce the cost of doing business, to bring American jobs home, to make America more competitive than it's ever been in a global economic marketplace. For far too long, America's corporate tax rate was one of the highest in the industrial world, but we've lowered it from 35% to 21%, increasing global competitiveness of American businesses. For decades, American entrepreneurs were held back by onerous regulations that served not as rules of the road, but as barriers blocking the road to progress. So this administration has eliminated 22 existing regulations for every new regulation imposed. For years, America was saddled with trade deals that were blatantly unfair to American consumers, businesses, and workers. So this administration has negotiated for better agreements. Congress is moving in a bipartisan way to adopt the administration's USMCA deal with Canada and Mexico, which will expand American energy export opportunities to both our southern and our northern neighbors. The combined impact of these policies is significant. Since President Trump's election, our economy has added more than 7 million jobs, including 500,000 new jobs at U.S. manufacturers. And the unemployment rate is the lowest it's been in 50 years, nearly my entire lifetime. More than my lifetime, I should say. Maybe I can lie a little bit. But that's not the whole story. The other major factor in our rapid economic growth is the competitive advantage provided by low-cost and abundant energy, which has been driven by decades of innovation. You here at the Council on Competitiveness have worked successfully with our national laboratories to publish reports and recommendations that support this effort, and we appreciate your assistance. You all know the story of energy innovation, from breakthroughs in hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling to the falling costs for deploying renewables. Innovation has brought an energy revolution that is fueling economic growth. When the Department of Energy opened its doors more than 40 years ago, we had gas lines and ration days. We had less energy at higher prices, and we had higher manufacturing costs and fewer jobs. But DOE has helped the energy industry make considerable progress against those challenges. Today, we are the world's second biggest generator of wind and solar energy, and number one in producing both oil and natural gas. This enormous bounty has kept world energy supplies reliable and world energy prices stable. And it's blessed American consumers and businesses with some of the lowest electricity rates in the world, half of what the EU pays, and 1/3 of the energy costs in Germany. And because of lower energy costs, the President's Council of Economic Advisors June report came out not that long ago, notes that U.S. consumers now save more than $200 billion a year. That equates to about $2,500 for a family of four. But there is much more to come. At DOE, we are executing the President's vision on an all-of-the-above innovation strategy that will support LNG exports. It will support the development of carbon capture technologies, the revitalization of nuclear energy, and the advancement of renewables, energy storage, and energy-efficient technologies. And so from fossil fuels to renewables, supply keeps rising, costs keep falling, and it's all being led by the power of innovation. As I said earlier, we are now the world's largest producer of oil and gas, and we are also the world leader in reducing energy-related carbon emissions. The lesson could not be clearer. When we innovate more and regulate less, we can drive up energy production and drive down energy costs. We can revive our economy and create more jobs. We can manufacture more and emit less, all at the same time. As Secretary, I'm also committed to focusing DOE on the next frontier of innovation challenges so that we can help launch the industries of the future. We're focusing on the integration of advanced computational sciences, the development of advanced manufacturing technologies, and the growth of the bioeconomy. To do this, we call on the help of our national laboratories, some of whom I know are here today. I saw Paul Kearns walking around, and I just saw Tom Zachariah in the back room. They have some of the most significant high-performance computing resources available, including some of the fastest supercomputers in the world. And we are proud to make their performance, those high-performance computing facilities available to researchers from industry and academia so that these public investments in state-of-the-art technologies are able to generate the greatest possible intellectual and economic benefit. These capabilities hold enormous promise for our country, and we will transform our science, boost our economy, and safeguard our national security. Within the Department of Energy, our Office of Science is also leading the way to develop and integrate 3 disruptive advanced computing technologies of the future: exascale computing, quantum information science, and artificial intelligence each represent monumental opportunities for economic growth. They will produce new industries and evolve old industries, and taken together, they will change the way we think, they will change the way we research, they will change the way we interact, and they will change the way we work, and I'm excited about their potential. DOE is also working with industry to lead a manufacturing technology renaissance. The experts in our Office of Advanced Manufacturing and at our labs are world leaders in next-generation manufacturing technologies and processes, like advanced large-scale 3D printing. If you haven't had an opportunity to see the Shelby Cobra that was 3D printed at Oak Ridge National Laboratory, I urge you to take a moment, look it up online if you can't go and see it physically. It is incredible. Across our department, we're working through research and development programs to explore new frontiers in the science of manufacturing, like advanced manufacturing techniques to support ultra-thin, high-performance solar cells, micronuclear reactors, and components for near zero emissions coal electricity generation. We're also finding new ways to extract valuable advanced materials from old sources, like using coal to make carbon fiber and to produce rare earth elements. Throughout all of these initiatives, we work with the brilliant innovators at your universities and your private companies. The partnerships at our institutes and hubs yield consortia of great minds that are clearly greater than the sum of their parts. Our newest addition to those efforts, the Clean Energy Manufacturing Innovation Institute, was launched just this March to develop technologies for cybersecurity that are specifically designed for tomorrow's energy efficient products, I should say. Along those lines, in order to further increase the competitiveness of U.S. manufacturers, DOE experts have provided technical assistance in energy efficiency to over 220 manufacturing partners through our Better Plants program, and our partners have saved a cumulative $6.7 billion. These partnerships have been noteworthy, but we need your help to take yet another big step. We're focusing on ensuring that federally sponsored research and development is successfully commercialized here at home, and we need the private sector's help to help us transfer that technology to the marketplace. And to that end, DOE has centralized our commercialization efforts through the Office of Technology Transitions, which is empowered to increase DOE's economic impact. Now, you may not be familiar with one of OTT's brand new initiatives, the Innovation X Lab series. We just held one at Argonne National Laboratory in Chicago. X Labs involve bringing together the brightest minds in the DOE complex, in academia and in industry, to focus on the big questions in research and development. And our next X Lab will be held by the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory in late January, and it's going to focus on biomanufacturing. I would encourage each of you to participate if at all possible. We have a long and important history in bioscience at the Department of Energy, and it also includes bioengineering and, of course, biosecurity as well. You probably know, or some of you know, that our supercomputers were used to map the human genome. It's not well known within the world, but yes, the Department of Energy was key to that important project. The bioeconomy of the future is poised to be an area of massive economic growth, and our department, the DOE, will be an important leader in that future. American manufacturing and business, and as a former executive at both Ford Motor Company and USA, I know this firsthand. You face fierce competition from abroad. This administration is committed to the fair treatment of our businesses and trade and decreasing overburdensome regulation right here at home. We're committed to a low-cost, advanced energy future, which we think will underpin a strong economy. And we are committed to exploring the industries of the future, those that will fast-track America's economic revival and lead to sustained long-term growth. Our focus will be on innovation, and we're counting on partners like you. I'd like to close by thanking you for what you do here at the Council and through your own universities and your own companies and businesses. It means the world to us at the Department of Energy. So thank you for your support, thank you for your collaboration, and allow me to thank you personally for the honor of being with you today. Thank you.